What's up, everybody? It's your boy Big Groove.
And I'm Digital Soul, and we are the Purple Brothers. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Purple Brothers. And I'm very, very excited about this edition because just being a former DJ myself and having a love for music as I do, I have somebody in the room that knows his shit. Let's just put it bluntly. This guy he's a San Francisco Bay legend, DJ, major Prince head, just the guy you want to have at your events, hype man, just the coolest brother ever. Just glad I got in touch with him, got a chance to hang out with him, meet him, and I'm very happy and excited to have him here today. My brother Alphonso Starr is in the house. What's good, my brother?
What's up, brothers? Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. Yeah, we hung out, man. June 12th, we were hanging out, you know?
Yeah,
down there in North Hollywood, NoHo.
Yeah, and hopefully soon again, hopefully we'll, I know you're out that way and I'm out this way, so hopefully one of these events will bring us together again. We'll be able to chop it up again. But no time
or let's collab. I mean, something's got to happen.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, man, let's talk a little bit. I know we haven't talked much, man, and there's a new album out by a purple guy called "Welcome to America." What you think, man?
Woo. Okay. Man. I mean, we're just gonna keep it 100 here, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So, 4 of the tracks I had for years now, before the release of the album. In my opinion, the album is a good album. So let's not take anything away from the album. The album's a good album.
Absolutely.
But for the hype that went into the album, Billboard, Times Square, and all that stuff, I don't know if that was Photoshop from what I saw, if that was real, but it definitely had a good marketing campaign behind it. But I feel that the tracks don't match the hype. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not, the album is a good album. Like Same Page, Different Book is my jam. Make Her Come is my jam. I mean, those, there's some good songs on there. But as a DJ, and you know this as well as I do, I guess I'm a little disappointed there weren't more danceable tracks on there. And because I want to play stuff at these events, man, and be like, hey, this is the slapper. This is like the best song on the Welcome to America, album, that kind of thing. And I don't really get that. The songs are okay, but they're not the kind of songs that'll make you rush to the dance floor if you heard it come on at a party.
I dig your answer because I want to ask you this. Because the album is, technically it's new, but the reality is it's a 10, 11-year-old album. Do you think if it had came out at that time when it was supposed to come out, do you think that you would have liked it then more and the same hype was, recorded for the album? Think that you probably appreciate it more at that time? No.
You know why? Because I'm comparing it to stuff that he's done, especially I'm an MPG guy. I'm an MPG funk guy. 1990 to 2014 for the most part, right before Third Eye Girl, I'm all about Candy Dulfer Maceo. I'm all about horns. I'm all about that full band, that full funk. I like that evolution of Prince from 90 on, 89 on. And so that's the kind of get down I like. I even like Tony Mosley rapping. You know what I'm saying? I mean, wow. So some people ain't, not feeling my man Tony, but I'm digging it, man, because Prince, he kept his ear to the streets and he wanted to be current, even though he was probably at the time considered like an OG because he had been around since 78. So here you are in the 90s, you've been into the game 12, 13 years already. And so he's just trying to keep up. He had his ear to the streets. And thus far, that was a part of his evolution, with this new sound that he had, So if I didn't compare it to that stuff, then maybe I would receive it a little bit different. But man, I just got too much stuff before that, like consuming my thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I get
that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'm glad you said something in respect to the horns. I prefer to hear, because I'm like you, I'm a funk guy. You started from 90. I started back Dirty Mind album on up, basically from 1980 on up for me. And
okay, yeah.
And then when he evolved and when he implemented horns, to me, it just, to me, it kind of took away from what he was doing musically, as far as his live thing. Maceo Parker. Yeah, I love Maceo. Maceo's dope, and Candy Dulfer is cool, but I didn't want to hear that all the time on certain songs. You know, if you go back to Musicology, the Musicology tour, it was heavily influenced with the trombone. You had the tenor saxophone, alto sax, you know, things of that nature. And then when it got to 2014 to his untimely demise, he had a whole horn section. And to me, it kind of took away from certain songs, but you was feeling it.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm there since 78. I'm there since day one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm digging, of course, all the 80s stuff. But I also like, you know, the transformation and the evolution. I feel sorry for any of his musicians he's worked with. He's always had the best musicians in the world working with him, right?
Yes.
But as he evolved, he just felt like, okay, I need to change. I need to, you know, swap out parts here too. So I feel sorry for former musicians, because one minute you're on top of the world with this man, next minute, you know, you're back to doing what you were doing prior to him pulling you into his world, you know. I saw an interview with him. They said he rotated musicians every 2 years. So that's why we saw different people in there. One minute you see John Blackwell, next minute you see Michael B. I mean, you know, he was rotating. Both of those brothers are badass. May John rest in peace. But he kept it moving. You know, he just kept it moving. He kept the wheels turning.
Yeah, I think he really started that after the breakup of the Revolution.
Revolution, yep.
Yeah, so as soon as that went, and he went another way in '87, when Sheila E. playing the drums, and you had you know, you had Alan Leeds on the saxophone, you know what I mean? And Alan is probably one of the baddest saxophone players ever. He don't get enough.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? If you ever go back and you watch that America video 1985, and they did it live when he was with Eddie M, with him and Eddie M getting down.
In France? What is the one in France?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever watch that again, I mean, the horn playing was incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
Sure was.
But you know, it was great for that particular song. But I think I just didn't want to hear it as he you know as he got older, and he started to do his material, and he was implementing other things and changing the arrangements. I just didn't care for the horns too much.
Okay.
You know, that's just me and just my opinion. So yeah, rest in peace, John Blackwell. He was a bad dude, you know.
And
Michael B was no joke too, though. MPG, man.
Come on, man.
I liked it when, you know, it was just Prince, Michael B, and Sonny. It was just like three of them on, you know, doing their thing, you know, back with the Undertaker, you know, stuff there they were doing, you know what I mean?
Yep.
All those different songs, you know, The Ride.
Yep.
Funky stuff coming from 3 or 4 people, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sonny, man, I didn't know that Sonny T went back as far as he did or does with Prince, man. So you know, read some stuff about that brother. Been around him a few times, you know. Met him at Bunkers actually in Minneapolis after the Dr. Mambo's Combo show, and you know, was through that night. And Sonny was super emotional. You know, there was like 5 or 6 of us just standing around, and he was talking, man, and he was telling stories. And I think that's like the main thing that I like about being around people from his world. They got stories, you know, and these are like homegrown stories. So I like talking to the Sonny T's and the Terry Jacksons, because those cats grew up with him. They grew up with him, man. They know it better than anybody else, you know. So much respect to those brothers, you know.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. Just coming and interacting with a lot of those people that played in his band, and you know, having a chance to talk with them, and the stories, like you said, hearing from one person is one thing, but when you hear it with somebody who actually grew up with them or played with them, and it's just it's amazing. It's amazing.
So I got a trivia question for you guys, man. And
I
I didn't know this. I mean, this guy told me this.
Okay.
Who was the one holdover from the revolution who was at the beginning of the NPG?
Well, that's Matt Fink.
Yeah. So
yeah.
When I had a chance to chat it up with Matt Fink at the Love for God kickoff in January of 2018 in New Orleans, they had like a little party get together the night before the cruise set sail. I wasn't on the cruise. I just went out there to support the whole event. So I'm talking to Matt Fink, and I asked Matt Fink if there was any beef or animosity between the Revolution and NPG, because both are out there performing, right? They're both out there performing without our man Prince. And I just wanted to know if there was any, how did each band feel about that? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, well, actually, I was in the beginning part of the NPG. You know, when he first formed NPG, I was the only holdover from the Revolution. I didn't know that. You know, I mean,
he was still there.
Yeah, he was still there. He was still there.
He was still there performing, and then right after that, I think, was he there? Love Sexy.
I think he was there till Graffiti Bridge. He was actually on the Graffiti Bridge album too.
Yeah. So
that was the last. That was the last actual album.
He was even there. I mean, he was there at the very beginning when they were doing the Rebels. You know what I mean? He was
okay.
Andre Simone and
right.
Was it Gail Anderson? Gail Anderson was a part of the Rebels.
Gail Chapman.
Gail Chapman.
Yeah.
Gail. So yeah, it was. He's been there a long time, man. Over 40 years. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Speaking of a long time, you've been at this DJing thing a long time. Brother. So we got to talk about your beginners, man. Like what got you into the love of music, and what became of Alphonso Starr? What made you who you are?
Ah, man, Beatles and James Brown.
Wow.
I mean, it's crazy. Those are my first two records, 11-year-old, paper route. And that's what I spent my money on, man. I spent my money on records, So that's when I started my music collection. And then the DJ thing happened by mistake. I went to a house party hosted by one of my high school friends, and whoever was supposed to bring the records didn't show up with the records. But she knew I was the guy that had all the records. So she asked me, could you please go get your records? I had to catch 2 buses to that girl's house, So,
wow.
So I'm like, oh man. I'm like, all right. So me and my cousin caught 2 buses back to my house, bought my little milk crate. Remember we used to carry vinyl in milk crates?
Yeah.
2 crates worth of records, had all the bangers in them, made it back. As soon as we walked through the door, it was like we were rock stars. Everybody just started screaming and stuff because the music had arrived. It wasn't about us. It was about the music, right?
Yeah.
So she had a little home stereo system. So I'm just putting needle on the record, one song at a time. But every song that I played was a banger, and people were reacting to it. So I'm like, oh shoot, I like this feeling. Okay, because I felt like it was because of me, but it wasn't because of me. It was this actual song. You see, we DJs are just facilitators. All we do is bring the music to the people. So it ain't necessarily about us unless you're doing some other stuff, So, at least that's how I look at it anyway.
Right.
So after that happened, I'm like, okay, I'm liking this vibe. So let me find out who else is throwing parties and stuff, and let me volunteer my services. I'm like, let me play the music for you. I got all the latest songs, and that's how the whole DJ thing started.
Okay.
So
may I ask which Beetle album did you have first? Which one was it?
Which needle?
Beetle, the Beatles.
Oh, Beetle. Oh, it was Meet the Beatles.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. And first James Brown record, 45, and I still have it, is Say It Loud, Black and I'm Proud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. I think my mom first album she ever bought me, the first one I can recollect from me in my personal collection was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Ooh, good stuff.
She bought me that soundtrack.
Good stuff.
And Hall & Oates, Private Eyes.
Oh, yeah, Private Eye, another good. Yep.
Yeah. I can go on forever talking about them cats because
man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. The difference between our generation versus the generation now, we like good music. It didn't make a difference what flavor of the artists were.
What color?
We just like good music. So Hall & Oates, they're vanilla. Beatles are vanilla.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We just like good songs. We were shocked to know that Wild Cherry was some vanilla guys, man.
Right. Shocked.
Why? Because it was a good song. We didn't care. I mean, like, what? Well, and then we were like, James Brown must have gave them that song, because that song was just so funky. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
so,
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter, the flavor, man. I grew up from everything to Andy Gibb, and like I said, Hall and Oates to Ambrosia. People don't remember
Ooh,
Ambrosia, bro.
that's right.
You know, yeah. You're the biggest part of me. All those songs, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Music is music, man. You know what I mean? If it feels good to your soul, listen to great. You know, that's what it's about. Doobie Brothers. You know what I mean? Michael
Come on.
McDonald was one of the coldest songwriters
Come on.
ever. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Kenny
Yep.
Loggins. So
Yep.
it doesn't matter, bro. It's just it's about the music.
I mean, think about this, man. You know, people discriminate. Music doesn't.
Yeah,
You know.
that's it.
So yeah. So you know, when I was in high school, like BSU, which was just just forming, when we showed up to a dance, I mean, it just went to a whole nother level.
Mm.
And we didn't care what it was, man. We came there to dance. Now, because I still DJ school dances for a living, that's my hustle. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my chocolate kids out there, they're not feeling anything that isn't like any kind of current rap, man. You know, put on something else and they walk off. So it makes me sad, man, because they just don't realize, you know, that number one, the stuff that they're liking and requesting isn't real danceable. It's lyrical, but it's not danceable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the BPMs are so, 75, 80 BPMs. It's just not danceable. And so it's just a totally different world now, man. We didn't care. I mean, rock, shoot, My Sharona, 79. Come on, man. We rocked out to that. We rocked out to that, man. My Sharona, come on, man.
Come on, man. I love that song, man.
Yeah,
David Bowie.
That song's gonna be on my mind for the rest of the night now.
Man. I
Yeah,
mean, we didn't
classic.
care. It was just a good song, good song.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a good beat. It was a good song. And of course, we couldn't get into any of that psychedelic stuff because that stuff wasn't real danceable. But man, the 70s stuff, man, 70s and 80s, man, B-52s, we were rocking out to the B-52s, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. All you do is just bounce up and down all night, man. So you get a good workout from that, man.
Yeah. 52s. And if you go back a little bit because the B-52s was like in the 80s, and you can go to Tom Tom Club.
Ooh, come on now. Genius of Love. Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
Come on. Come on.
Great music, man. We came up on some great music, bro. That just, you could think of certain songs and you can remember where you were when you heard it.
Right.
That's the type of timeless classic music that we grew up on.
So my cousin, may he rest in peace, he was the booking manager at the Circle Star Theater out here in San Carlos. San Carlos is about 35 minutes away from San Francisco. So any shows that happened there, I got to see it, if I wanted to. All right, cuz, can I come through tonight? Yeah, come through. And every show that I went to, I got backstage because, that's where my cousin's office was, backstage, right? So, of course, the night P was there, come on, man. 20 years old. I'm a major fan, just starting off, been DJing for like 4 years because I started when I was 16. And next thing you know, there he is. I'm like, oh, shit.
Wow.
I said, okay, cuz. I said, ask him if he'll take a picture with me. He says, he probably won't. I said, let's ask him anyway. What we got to lose? So he was getting ready. I mean, especially when an artist is getting ready to hit the stage, they're focused on coming out there and doing their thing, man. So the timing was off. I probably shouldn't have asked him, but you know what? What do I have to lose? So he went up to him and asked him, and he said, okay. He just kind of shook his shoulder and said, okay. So my cousin had a Polaroid camera, and bam, took the picture. I've been posting it lately, man. You can see that he really, by the expression on his face, he wasn't feeling it, but nonetheless, he did it. I'm smiling enough. I'm like, hey,
Wow.
That's the infamous ice cream cone shirt picture. There.
Bingo. Yep, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Later on that night, I hung out with Dez and Andre. They were a little bit more social, but Prince wasn't real talkative, man. I heard him talking in this dressing room. He's super talkative, super playful, super active around people that he knows and he's comfortable with and that he trusts. But strangers, shuts it off. It's like a light switch. Boop. And you'd be lucky if you get a word out of him if he don't know you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he was back then,
Yeah.
So
tell me this, man. What was a very, very first either Prince song or Prince album that reeled you in, where you was like, okay, I'm on board with this brother?
Well, it wasn't the first one. It wasn't For You, because the only thing I liked on that was maybe Bambi and Soft and Wet.
Oh, that was
And
the
maybe
second album. That was
or
the
second album. Well, yeah, but well, Soft and Wet was on For You. So, second album, I would say the second album, Prince, and I would say Dirty Mind. Dirty Mind, man, I got into fights with dudes over Dirty Mind because dudes in my hood. Remember, I told you my hood was like
yeah.
super chocolate. You know, I was a hardcore Prince fan at an early age, and these dudes are like, "Oh, you like Prince? Oh man, well that dude's gay, and if you like him, you gay too." So then we have to scrape, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, the back of the album didn't, you know, that's how they made their case, because they're like, what straight dude, you know, wears leg warmers and G-string, and I said, that's just a stage persona, man. That dude to take your girl if you walk in front of him with your girl. So get out of here with that, man. So those early albums, every song on the album you liked.
Yeah.
Every song, man. I mean, that's how it just was, man. There wasn't a song on there that I did not like.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
And it was like that consistently until, you know, a little later on, you're like, I don't like this, and I like this, and then it became like 80%. You know, Crystal Ball, wow. If you can even find it now, you know, Crystal Ball was just a banger. Gold album, banger. Sign of the Times, I mean, all that stuff, man. Just
it's classic records, bro.
Man,
classic records.
We're lucky to have grown up with this man, because there'll never be another. I mean, nobody else will ever even come close. The only artist that could come close, but he needs to write more, is Bruno Mars, I think. Because Bruno's pretty badass, but he just doesn't, come on, we need more songs faster. Prince was always writing, just even when he's on tour, he's just writing, you know.
And Bruno's a bad boy. Bruno's
a
very talented man, you know. I happened to see him in concert.
Oh, you saw him? Okay.
Yeah. And I happened to get backstage because one of his co-writers got us backstage that I know personally. So I think we were at Staples Center, and I didn't realize how little he was, you know.
Yeah.
Little, I'm looking down at him like, I'm on the street, but I'm looking down like, damn, you small, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's a bad dude. Like you said, we just need more music from him. But yeah, he's definitely a bad boy. Yeah.
What was your first Prince concert, man?
First Prince concert was here in the city, here in San Francisco, at this place called the Broadway, small venue. I want to say maybe 79 or something.
This was pretty early.
Yeah, this is like super early. Like, yeah, because he wasn't doing like big arenas then, you know, he was still on the come up, you know. But nonetheless, sold out. One of the things that remained consistent with him, I've seen him 20 times. And the 20 times that I've seen him, that includes those impromptu late night parties that he'd pop up at some small club, you know. It included those. One of the things that was consistent with every concert that I've gone to, Prince just had a way of bringing in the finest women ever. I mean, people, I was like, oh my goodness, what, you live here in the Bay Area? Oh my God. I mean, you know, that was super consistent, man. Of course, they ain't paying you no attention because they're all focused on him, but it don't matter. You know, you still around all these beautiful women, man. So big shout out to all the beautiful women out there that still rock with them, okay?
Absolutely, bro. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. I know that you actually have a lot of events that you've been doing during the course of the years. You have Love Sexy Cruise. You do all these amazing parties and get-togethers representing sometimes Prince albums, Prince colors, things like that. Talk a little bit about how you got to that and how you're keeping it going now.
Yeah, man. Well, we were actually doing Prince themed events even before he passed away, you know. But then felt the need to do it even more because that's like our lifeline to him now. You know, it's the only way that we feel like, you know, we can get together and feel his presence without him physically being there, you know? So, and then with every party that we do, we come up with different themes because people get into themes, whether it be a album theme or a dress theme or whatever the case may be. And that's just an added way of making the event, you know, sexy and attractive to people. You know, I mean, mainly the women buy into that, man. They just go all out, man. I mean, if there's an event 3 months from now, women are already like organizing and planning what they're going to wear because that's just what they do. You know, they go all out with what they have on. You know that. You guys know that. You know.
It's an event.
So after he passed away, I was at the grand opening of Paisley, which happened like October 5th or 6th in 2016. My first time, you know, being in Minneapolis. Mayor Denny Laufenberg was at the door. Welcome to Paisley Park. I'm the Mayor Chanhassen. That was kind of cool. It was surreal being in his house, you know. You know, being in a different studio. You guys ever been to Paisley?
Yeah,
I have.
I went in 2019.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you know it, man. Studio A, Studio B.
Yeah.
You know, being in the studios, just, you know, feeling his presence, trying to look at his house through his eyes. Man, it's just, it's a good vibe being in there. But then you feel sad too, because if he was still alive, we wouldn't be in there.
True. Very true.
I mean, that's just how it is. You know, you can let no strangers in his house. You know.
Yeah, I'm hearing they're encouraging people now to take more pictures because at first they weren't really allowing people to take pictures only to a certain part of the certain part of Paisley Park. But now they're encouraging people to take pictures more in other locations of the area.
And I think this is just my opinion, but I think the main reason why they want to do that is because we're all, you know, marketing billboards, so to speak. You know, by people taking pictures, sharing it in social media, you're actually promoting Paisley Park.
Yeah.
And Paisley Park needs promotion. 90% of their business comes from people like us, out of state and out of country. Locals aren't going. Wow. So, I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, unless there's something big happening, put it this way, no, locals are going, but primarily when they have events. Now remember, the place is open all during the week and you can go on tours all during the week. It's basically dead all during the week. But when you have an event, like Questlove was just there last Sunday, oh yeah, we got bodies in there. Now the locals go because they're like, they know people like us are going to be there. They know the out of state and out of country people are going to be there. Well, not out of country, but out of state. So they're like, oh, let's go to Paisley, man, because so-and-so is going to be there, all their Facebook friends and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right. Sadly,
Paisley Park isn't like Disneyland. It's not the place that, you know, you hear about when you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? I wish it was, but it's just not. So unless the locals really support it, it's going to have a hard time surviving. Once again, this is just my opinion, you know. But yeah. So after he passed away, I decided in 2018, I want to do a party in Minneapolis to be able to do something in the motherland, in the purple motherland, you know. And I checked out several venues and I found this really cool spot called the Poorhouse. There's TV monitors all around and stuff, nice stage, good sound system. I'm like, man, this is perfect, man. And I put on my party on a Monday night. That weekend they had a blizzard and messed up, you know, people's flights and stuff, man. That was all bad. Anyway, but I had 125 people in a place that fits 800. You know, it was some bodies are better than nobodies. And then 2019, I decided to move it to that Wednesday. It's always the week of celebration because celebration goes from Thursday to Sunday. So, and I want mine to be before, give them something to go to for those that are in town. And then I got to dip out of there because I always have like high school proms in April on the weekend. So I can't be there for the weekend. But the following year in 2019, I went from 125 to 325. So I had 325 people, you know, the following year. And that switch of days, moving it from Monday to Wednesday was the difference maker, you know. Yeah. Then I had a Starr Party 4 planned for last year. Of course, that got canceled and didn't happen again this year. So my cruise, my Love Sexy cruise, here that I do here in the Bay Area. It's just a little cruise around the Bay, a little 4-hour cruise. You know, it don't go to Jamaica or the Bahamas. It just cruises here. But that thing is a sellout every year, man. It's different. You know, you're on the boat for 4 hours, different themes, Martin Kember singing, you know, I have another DJ, you know, so I can split duties and walk around and be a host and not be stuck behind the decks, you know, all night. And that thing, because it is different, because it is on the water and the boat's moving and it's going underneath the bridges here in the Bay Area and stuff, man, it sells out every year, man. So once again, I haven't been able to do that either. So, you know, forget you, COVID. messing up my thing.
Yeah, it'll come back. Yeah. It was coming back, bro.
Yeah,
I hope so, man.
We're going to give a shout out to, I know you mentioned Martin Kimber, man. I want to give a shout out to him and all of Purple Funk SF group as well, man. I know they're huge contributors to the cruises, the party. So we definitely want to shout them out and, you know, give them a hello, purple hello from the Purple Brothers and Alphonso.
Thank you, man. I mean, that's my group. I started that group. So
yeah, absolutely. And what year did you start that group?
2014.
2014.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. What are some of the songs that you play that are not so popular that really get a lot of attention when you spin?
Woo! Okay, so my signature song, the song that people know that I play and I just own it. I just own it. Live version of 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 from Vegas.
Okay.
That's my signature song, man. And when people hear that, come on, they just know that that's it. That's my one.
It's about to be on.
It's on. P Control.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a real cool remix of that. That's like just banging. I go from 2 different live versions into the studio version. It's all on one track, man. It's really good. And then Northside. This is how we funk on the North Side, man. I mean, those are my bangers. You know, Deuce and a Quarter, Sex Me. I mean, I like the stuff from Chocolate Invasion and Gold N-Word. Those are some good albums, man. Yeah. You know, and you know, yeah, that's funky stuff there. I told you. But then my banger of all bangers, and I did a really cool remix on this track also, DMSR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite.
DMSR, that's it. And then my other jam that gets people going, you know, that I personally like, Private Joy, man. Come on, man. I mean,
Percy album. There you go.
I tell you, I'm down with the MPG funk, but come on now, I bang the early '80s stuff too, though, man. You know, so
that Controversy, man. Yeah, that's the first song on side B. When you flip that sucker, it's the first song.
Yes, sir.
Very good record, man.
Yeah, man. You got something coming up too, man. On Halloween, I'm hearing a little through the grapevine. Let's talk a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, so you know, COVID has been a blessing and a curse. The blessing side of it is it got me to learn something that I would just had no interest in learning, which is what we're on right now, which is Zoom. And some of the other platforms, you know, Twitch, you know, some of these other platforms that people are doing stuff on. It's not my thing, man. I'd rather be there in person. You were there. You see how it is in North Hollywood, man. It's so good to be around people in the same space so you can see them, meet them, talk to them, and feel that energy, you know. And you
have a common interest. We're all there for that same purpose.
For that same purpose, man. You know, so that's my get down. Somebody told me last year when I first started doing this Zoom stuff, you better get used to it. I don't want to get used to this, man. I mean, this is, I don't.
Yeah.
We don't either, bro. We don't.
Nah, man, this is not, I mean, this is cool for this because we're all in different areas. This is cool for this.
Yeah.
But when it comes to music, I want us all to be in that same space at that same venue.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I started doing, my first Zoom thing was like a school function for an elementary school. And I had my growing pains because I wasn't dialed into the sound part properly and sound was cutting in and out. So, you know, I had to learn the hard way to get it right. But now I got it right. So this year I decided to start doing Prince themed Zoom events, one a month. I started in March and I ended in August. I did one every month. Every month I had special guests on. And the guests that I had on were all like just regular common folks, like, you know, like us. There wasn't no superstars on there because I wanted it to be about the regular people. So there were purple artists on there, people who draw, people who make stuff out of metal. Rob Reardon out of Minnesota. He's a craftsman. He makes all kinds of cool stuff. Henrietta Littlejohn out of the UK. She's an artist. She be sketching some stuff up so badass. You know, Mary Johnson, she's out of Minnesota.
Cool.
She's a sketch artist. I tried to get Dan Lacey on there, but he has brain cancer right now. So he's, you know, he's fighting right now. You know, I had Mayor Denny on there, the former mayor of Chanhassen. He was one of my guests. So I've had some real good guests on there, man. And they were on each show just to break it up. You know, there was music, an artist, and a poet. So August was my last one because I always do it on the last Sunday of the month. I'm like, all right, I'm pulling the plug after August because I'm a football guy, man. I ain't trying to do nothing on Sundays but watch football now, okay? But I decided to do one more. So it's going to be on Halloween Day. It's going to be you know, if you want to wear a costume, fine. If you don't, that's cool too. But I want to do a special like 15-minute dance set for people that have kids. So we want to get their kids on there because we know, if anything, kids are way into costumes. I'm into costumes, you know. Want to get their kids on there and have them dancing on the screen and stuff. And my Days of Wild virtual events are super well attended. At least I think they are. I mean, they're not on the level of, you know, like DJ Cassidy. I mean, he has like millions of people tuning in. Mine is on Zoom, so it's private. And the main reason why I did it on Zoom is because I didn't want to go Facebook Live or anything like that and have my music muted.
Right.
So it's a private get down, and you know, only ones that, you know, get the link can be on there. So it's not open to the public, you know. And by it being that way, I can play anything I want to play and not have to worry about having it censored, you know.
Yeah.
With the whole copyright thing, you know. So we've been averaging 130, 140 people per event, which I think is not bad, you know. And these people are all over the world, as far as Israel, you know, all of Europe, man. So many people from Europe on there, man, and of course all throughout the United States. So it's fun, man.
Yeah, and you know how that goes, man. You know, those 130, 140 people, man, they start talking, start telling their friends about it. You know, yeah, it starts to grow. So,
man, I did a career presentation at a school, at a junior high school, and one of the things I asked the kids, I said, if you guys were to start your own business, what's the best form of advertisement? And it's also the cheapest. Doesn't cost you a dime, but it's certified gold. First thing they said is like Twitter or Instagram.
Of course.
I said, no, you guys. I said, Twitter and Instagram is fine after you find out about this business. But before that, what's the best? And one guy says radio. I'm like, come on, man, it don't cost anything. And then they just couldn't get it. I said, word of mouth, you guys.
Yeah.
One person saying it to another, because as soon as somebody tells you about something, if you got a smartphone, the first thing you're going to do is look it up. But hearing it from your friend means it's gold. It's certified because you heard it from your friend. So one person saying it to another. So you're absolutely right, man. They're talking about it. People are talking about it.
Yep. Next thing you know, man, you're going to have 300, 400, 500 people showing up.
I mean, that would be cool because my Zoom platform that I paid for can fit 500. Okay. Yeah, so I'm nowhere near that, man. But it's all good. It's all good.
You got some space to grow there. That's
I got some space.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I know you said you're going to shut down for a little bit, but any other plans besides just watching football after, going into 2022?
Yeah, there's one more coming up. Martin just locked it in yesterday. He called me up 2 days ago and he says, what do you think about doing something in DC? I'm like, I'm down. I've never been to DC, man. So he says, okay, man, I got this connection on a venue and I'll get back to you. And then he got back to me yesterday and said, okay, man, November 20th, let's do something in DC. I'm like, all right, sign me up. I'm not doing anything. I didn't have anything booked with my DJ thing, because that whole thing is struggling right now, man. People want to do stuff, but they don't know if they can and they don't know how. So therefore, nothing, they're still trying to figure it out. Right. And everybody has their eyes and ears open on the spread of this whole Delta variant, so a lot of procrastination and hesitation out of folks, Yeah. But anyway, so Martin got this venue. It's called Songbird. The date is November 20th. And we're coming to DC. So the DMV, we're coming out there, man. Martin Cameron's going to tear it up. He's going to have his band with him. And man, Martin's band is so freaking good, man. Man, those guys were good. Man. That was my highlight of being down there at his show in North Hollywood, man. Just seeing the musicians gel together because some of them hadn't played with each other before, you know? Yeah. But when you're good, it happens. It just kind of happens naturally when you're good at what you do, Mm-hmm. So I'm checking those guys out. I'm a critic too, man. I'm standing in the back watching them play, man. And I'm like, wow, these guys are getting it in up here, you know?
Yeah, you know when I think it's natural, man. When you just love music as much as we do, you're naturally a critic of most
Right.
because you listen to so much. You have a vast variety, so you do tend to become a critic in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Martin was performing Musicology, the band weren't stopping. The live version, the studio version of Musicology, there's no stopping. The live version, there's a stop. Then it, you know, it stops on the one. Musicology, couple bars, and it stops. Ba-da, and then it goes to the next part. So when I got up there on stage, I did like I was dancing and just having fun, but I kind of froze. And when the drummer saw that, he stopped. And then came back on. So he stopped on the one and then he came back on. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how good that dude was and how good they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and watch it.
Right, right. So
Very cool.
So I don't know if you even I asked this question, but if it's one song or one album that you can just wake up in the morning that you just had to listen to of Prince, what would it be?
Dirty Mind.
The album?
Yeah. Whole album. Yeah. Good stuff on there.
John knows how I feel about Dirty Mind, bro.
Yeah.
That Dirty Mind changed a lot of people's lives. The earth shook when that came out.
Yeah.
Bro, that was probably one of the funkiest albums. I back then when I was a youngster, but I listened to Dirty Mind and I listened to Street Songs, Rick James album.
Woo! Yeah.
Phone, they're just
another classic.
funky, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that Dirty Mind. And the thing about Dirty Mind, man, it's such a short album, but it's so impactful. You know, just those 8 songs. I think it's not even 30, 35 minutes, I think.
Right.
Under 40 minutes. It's like 33 minutes or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, but it made such a strong statement to the world. Yeah, it was like a bomb.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I would wake up to, man. You know, any of the albums in the early 80s, man, just all of them are just so freaking good, man. That dude is. I never refer to Prince in the past tense because he still is. He's just a genius. There'll never be another. Nobody else will ever even come close to that man. I mean,
that's what I say. It's the same sentiment. You know, people talk about they want to compare Michael Jackson and Prince. You can't. Prince come out with an album every year, once a year. You hear from MJ once every 5 to 6 years, one album. You know, if you go from Off the Wall to Thriller, Prince probably put out 3 records before Thriller came out. You know, so it's no comparison.
35 albums in 38 years. 35 albums in 38 years.
And that's just Prince album. That's not even
the Fab Tree.
Right.
Yeah. That's not counting Vanity 6. That's not counting Maserati. That's not counting The Time.
Yeah, that's just his album.
Sheila E. Madhouse. I mean, you know what I mean? Come on, man. You can't. There's no comparison, bro. Sorry.
Not even close.
Mm-mm.
Like I said, we are lucky and blessed, to have come up when we did and to experience the music, experience the concerts, and recognize the genius. Recognize the genius. I mean, there are dudes now who were jealous and hated on them back then, but they get it now. They get it now. The light bulb finally went off with these guys. You know what I'm saying? But back then they were hating. Those. Yeah. I mean, they were hating because all the ladies are going crazy over the dude, man. So they were taking that stuff personal, but not recognizing the genius that went into it, man. Like, listen to these lyrics, man. Listen to the music. Look at the credits on the back. Written, performed, produced by Prince. I mean, come on, man. He was doing it all, man. And singing.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that? Who does that now? Who does that, man? I mean,
yeah, it's far and few, man.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this, man. You know, we talk about you spinning music and you know some of those tracks that get people moving and pumped up. And you know, just like myself and Big Rube, man, the love of Prince music brought us together. Our friendship, you know, we met when we were teenagers, and we're still friends to this day
Yes, sir.
because of our love of music through Prince. I met you the same way through the music of Prince, and Prince's
Mhm.
music lives on and brings us together through his music even now to this day. And I think that will still continue to happen 100 years from now. And
Yeah,
that is the artistry of a true legend that can do that and impact the world the way it does.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So on a note, man, I got a thing, man, that we do. We call
Uh-oh.
it a minute inside the purple mind. We just rattle off the first thing that comes into your mind, man. I'm gonna set my timer for a minute.
Oh shit.
We're gonna see what you're gonna come up with here, okay?
Woo! All right. Bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Yeah.
All right, man. You ready for this?
I think so.
All right. Favorite song on Love Sexy?
I know.
Favorite Prince era?
90s.
Favorite state?
California.
Favorite The Time song?
Wild and Loose.
Favorite person to dance with?
Shoot, by myself, man. I don't need to dance with nobody.
Favorite 3 Prince albums?
Oh shoot. Dirty Mind, Controversy, Crystal Ball.
Favorite place that you have DJ?
San Ramon Valley High School in Danville.
Favorite Prince B-side?
Ooh. Product City.
I see. Okay, perfect. That was right on time, man.
Ooh.
We got that mind going, huh?
Yeah, B-side, we could have gone so many different places with that,
man.
you know. I'm gonna tell you something else too, man. When I did my first tour at Paisley, Prince has so much music. I have a lot, but I don't think anyone has everything, you know, especially the live, like the soundboard recordings, which I'm
Oh yeah.
starting to get a lot of that now too. I find stuff out there and I record it, right? But I was in studio A or B, I can't remember which one it was. The tour guide, who was horrible, it was some like 19-year-old girl reading a script. Get her ass out of there, okay? Because she ain't got stories.
Nothing.
You know, I got more stories than that girl. You know.
Right.
Anyway, but there's a song playing in the background. I'm like, oh shit, I like this song. So I'm like, excuse me, but who's that? What's the name of the song here? She said, I don't know, but you can go over and look at it. There's an iPod right there. So it was playing from an iPod, but it didn't have a digital display on it. You know what song it was? And I had never heard it.
What?
Rock and Roll is Alive, and it lives in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
But I had never heard that song before.
Wow. Yeah,
You know,
that was on the flip side. That was on the flip side of Gold.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So that was in, let's see, that was my first time. That was in 2017. I had never heard that song before that.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that came out like 95.
95. Yeah.
Did it come out that long ago? 95 for real?
Yeah. It was on the
Shit,
flip
man.
side of Gold, the Gold single.
I didn't have the gold single, so I didn't know. You know?
Yeah. So it's
Hey, man,
amazing what you still learn to this day, man.
Man,
these songs,
I'm a forever be a student. I'm a forever be
yeah,
a student.
we all are.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And that's the amazing part of it, man. His history, his enigma, his artistry, I mean, just the whole package, man. It keeps
Right.
us intrigued still to this
Right.
day and digging through his catalog and learning new shit about it all the time.
Man. So yeah, to me it's exciting. I'm digging what I'm really into lately are his live versions of stuff, man. Especially if it's soundboard quality.
Yeah.
I'm just loving his. I'm listening to him, and I can see how he's improvising and stretching songs out the same way James Brown did, right? And his band members are playing, but they're playing the song not the way it was rehearsed because Prince is like taking it in another direction, but they're following him, and they're so good at what they do, and the chemistry is so good, it's flawless. You know, when he says something like, "Okay, let's keep it right there," you know what I'm saying? So his band knows, okay, what we're doing right now, we just gonna keep on playing it like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or the quick on the one, bam. hit me, bam, music starts back again. I mean, come on, man, that's all James Brown stuff, man. Come
Oh
on.
yeah.
Prince was a student of the game too. You know that, you
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
He pulled from a lot. Man. A lot of you can tell, definitely tell when he pulled from different people.
Yeah, yeah, you can hear Jimi Hendrix in certain songs, you know. You can hear Jimmy early back in the For You album with the song like I'm Yours, you know, the
Oh,
whole arrangement of
yep,
the guitar
yep,
solo, what have you.
yep.
You go to, you know, even with Bambi on the second album, just you know, great guitar licks on that too, man. So, but then you
Wait, though, are you sure Bambi's not on For You also?
that was on the second album,
That was on the
Second
second
album.
album. Okay,
self-titled album. Yeah,
I must be
that
getting
was
Bambi mixed up with a different song, but okay.
yeah, yeah. It was on the album with I Feel
It
for
was
You,
on Prince, right?
Sexy Dancer. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
on that album.
yeah.
Yep. So I think it
Yeah,
was in the middle of the album
yeah, it was like I know it was on the second side.
on the second side. Yeah.
Side, yeah,
Got you,
side two.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Um,
gonna have to revisit that album soon, man.
man, I need to go back and
Yeah,
revisit. I
give it
just
another spin. You know how that is, man. When you stay away from albums a little bit of time, you kind of forget the sound and the order and things like that. But,
yeah, I may rediscover something on there. I'm like, hey, you know what? I do kind of maybe I rushed it. Maybe I do like
yeah,
this after all.
Yeah.
What do
yeah.
you guys think of cover bands? I mean, have you guys heard of any cover bands? Have you guys seen any cover bands that you like?
I haven't personally. We know of we actually interviewed one guy.
Yeah, Julian Stefani.
Yeah, Julian. Yeah,
Oh,
Julian
Julian. Yeah, I
Tried.
know Julian out of Oregon.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I haven't
we had him on
we had him
beginning of the
on.
year.
I haven't seen him live yet, but I hear good things about his performances.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a pretty good show. His is the erotic city show, which is really good. And then
Yep.
I know you familiar with Jason Tenor, right?
Oh yeah, and I met Jason.
Yeah, Jason had pretty good. I haven't seen him in quite a while, but I saw his show 2 or 3 times in Vegas. But that was about probably 7, 8 years ago. Last time I
Yep.
saw it, but his show was really good back then. And
Well,
he had a good time.
Jason's show is so legit. Prince signed off on it because remember, Jason started this thing when Prince was still alive,
Right,
and
right,
so in order for him to do it, he had to have Prince's blessing, which he did.
right, right.
So,
And
so yeah,
he was on point too. He had a good
yeah.
show.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
Marshall Sharlop he's a real deal too.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't seen him.
Right.
I have to check him out.
Now Marshall's thing is called the Purple Experience,
Okay,
and Matt Fink was actually in that group
okay,
when they were doing their thing, and then I want to say in 2018, it's either 17 or 18, the estate made them pull the plug, told them that they couldn't do it, so they were on ice for a while.
oh wow.
Yeah, the estate, yeah, that's unfortunate, but you know, yeah,
They tripped.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I wish the estate would work with people because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of really good, talented artists, musicians, artists, tribute artists. There's no imitators. There's real Purple fans don't like imitators, but we respect and admire tribute artists, the ones that are out there doing his music, but they're not trying to be him because there's only one him.
Yeah.
There's only one Prince. So instead of them sending people cease and desist letters, just reach out to him and be like, hey, we know you're out there doing his stuff. His music is copywritten, blah, blah, blah. If you do this, you got to let us know about it. And we may want a little kickback or whatever, but at least work with folks, instead of just shutting them down. So, but that's my opinion.
No, and
y'all heard it here first. Stop shutting them down.
Yeah.
No doubt, man.
So yeah, man. I appreciate being on the show, fellas. Hopefully the next time we connect, it won't be Zoom. Hopefully it'll be in person at an event.
Sure, man.
I love that.
We definitely looking forward to it. And we thank you, man. Just for sharing your time. I know we've been going back and forth for several months, and I mean, even leading up to the show, man, we've had some pretty good conversations. So I'm glad we got a chance to actually sit down and chop it up and talk about where Alphonso Starr's been doing, what he's up to, and kind of giving people the update about the new show coming up on Halloween and so forth. So we're just so humbled to have you here and share your knowledge and your experience as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So Halloween virtual experience on Zoom, and then Martin Kimber Live, man, November 20th in DC.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I know it's gonna be cold as heck out there, but whatever.
Oh yeah, that's all right, man.
All right.
Local people will heat it up.
Man. So as long as they show up and mask up and try to keep this thing safe, it should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's everybody. Make sure you get those tickets,
man. So thanks, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, man. We appreciate you, man. My brother, my DJ brother, my musical brother, my purple brother. We thank you so much, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alphonso Starr in the house, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Keep in touch, fellas.
All right now.
We'll do, man. Take care.
Okay, man. Deuces.
Okay.
I'm out.
Okay. Take it easy, man. See you soon.